Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Um, so I spent a lot of time talking about where I want to take these Monday meditations. And now I'm gonna really abruptly pivot to talking about guides. And what I wanted to do today was create a little like bubble of energies that we can just stay in dialogue with. And there's like energy work practitioners that can help you connect with your guides. There's practices that I think help build that connection, right? Like I think all of it is important and precious, right? Um, and for myself, right, I think it's like it's going direct, right? Like anytime somebody gives me information about anything, I'm typically very suspicious. Um, in the sense of like people, I always give this one example because I thought it was so silly. Uh, because I think this person was trying to like really like impress me or something, but they were tuning in, and in this system, and this isn't true to me, but I'll tell you what they were reading. In this system, they would say that like somebody's connection to the earth, like their grounding cord, and there's different ones, but they would say that the length of your grounding cord was how many lifetimes you've been here. And again, I don't think that's accurate, and I do think they're reading something important. But they like checked the length of my grounding cord, and they were like, "Oh my God, your grounding cord goes all the way to the core of the earth. That means that you were here when the earth was first made." And they were like, oh. And I was like, "Yeah, but so was everyone else who was here when the earth was first made." I'm like, "Well, so what, right?" Like, it only matters if it's this like exciting popularity contest, or I'm like, "What's the length of your grounding cord?" And then they're like 300 feet. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I remember when mine used to be 300 feet," right? Like, like it's not like yeah. Anyways, I just think it's really hilarious that these teachings can be set up in such a way that um, that we can feel less than or more than because of our connection to the earth, right? Because I'm like, the whole point of that is to be grounded and to like be in my body, right? To like feel nurtured and nourished. And it could be a 5 foot cord, meaning that like I just got to earth yesterday, or a 3,000 feet one, or one that touches the core of the earth, right? Um, but I think the whole purpose of connecting is to feel like I get to be in my body and feel safe, right? And so with our guides, I think something similar happens is that, we hear how other people talk about their guides, and it's basically the same thing. They're like, "Well, my grounding cord goes to the core of the earth. Oh, you have one grounding cord? I have four." Right? And I don't know, I'm talking shit, right? Where somehow they make it this better than thing when the whole point, again, is to feel stable. And with our guides, they're there. Some people are going to have a connection with their guides where they talk to them regularly. I literally teach this stuff. I can help do sessions on people to do that, right? My guides don't talk to me unless I'm like fucking up somehow. And in which case, then they pull up and then they're like, "Ken, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I thought I thought you guys wanted me to go left." And they're like, "Nah, we definitely were very clear." And I was like, "Oh, but going left had more ice cream. Can't we include more ice cream in going right?" And then they're like, "Well, we're willing to negotiate, but get back on path," right? Like generally I collaborate with them deeply to the point that I feel at times an expression of my authentic energies, but also an expression of these beings that I collaborate with. So sometimes when let's say I'm sharing this material, right? Like I can be an expression of that like wisdom. And then in that way, like my collaboration with them is really deep, and I don't need to see them. And I'm not like, "Well, he was a, a pilot of a underwater earth ship, mermaid kingdom, and his name is like boo boo blah 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 the third," right? Like sometimes y'all like it gets so wild and I'm like, "God damn, that's like 12 layers of complexity I wasn't ready for," right? I'm like, "There's an underwater kingdom." I'm like, "Okay, first." And I'm like, "And then his name's blah 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 blah." And I'm like, no, like look at the field, right? And like I'll ask them and they're like, I'm like, is that your name, dog? You know, and then they're like, sometimes they're like, not really. Um, you know, but there is a guide there. But out of a desire to connect to them and sometimes a desire to know more than I'm like qualified to know yet, right? Like I don't, like I literally might not have the system set up to receive that information, right? But I'm like, oh, they're a mermaid. And I'm like, what's really happening is like, I can sense an energy and it's flowing. And I'm like, and my mind gets that flowing, let's say symbol or image or quality. And then that sensation gets translated where I'm like, oh, what flows on earth? And I'm like, water. I'm also like cheese, right? So I'm like, they're from a cheese planet. And the cheese planet kingdom that I'm a prince there, right? And somehow, motherfuckers, like I'm still, you know, it's still ego driven. And this guy's just like, I don't know, man. Can we just, I just need you to like tune into your heart, right? Like whatever it takes, you know, they're like tiptoe around these things, right? And so this ability to relate to these beings, it has to come with this deepening and continual, I'll say, like removal filters. Because I'm going to constantly take the subtle information, attempt to translate it, attempt to make sense of it, and like morph it and twist it according to what I've lived or experienced, right? Or whatever my nervous system actually is able to like hold and attune to. Again, right? Like there is a flowing quality. And when I tune into that quality, like if I don't let it be distinct from me, if I don't let it be a thing that I'm like, I don't know what that is, I start guessing, right? And I'm like, is that water? With cheese. I'm like, ice cream, snowflakes. Right? And I'm throwing out these different things. And literally that's when I look at people's relationship to their guides, especially when we're like 100% positive that our guide is from this realm, does these things, and then therefore does like these other things for me, right? There's often like slivers of truth, which is difficult to stay connected to, because then they start to become an idea, and then I start to like relate to that idea in my own like shenanigans, and then by the time that it's done, then like, you know, my guides have to like skip all of those structures to keep trying to deliver me information. So we're gonna make, this is me talking shit. I had a really good nap. I hope y'all can tell. So we're gonna make a space, and we did this a little bit before, for our guides to communicate with us. And we're gonna continually clear filters, right? Like, and again, watch for the parts of us that are like wanting our guides to like save us, wanting our guides to like help us be cool, to help us not feel pain or discomfort. Like our guides are aligned. I'll say that our guides are like pure expressions of our inner capacities, our inner wisdom. Like they're like really brilliant examples of like what it means to be like, maybe I'll just say like in flow and living. And so like it's a collaboration that they can like create. They can take anything that we're experiencing and help us get like how that's contributing, right? If I take something that precious and I force it to make me feel good, then it's like, you know, trying to make a bumblebee like swim underwater, in my opinion, right? And these are maybe terrible examples, but you know, it could probably do it. It won't be able to do it for long. It's not like our guides wouldn't get hurt or anything, but you know, oftentimes like guides are put in these boxes, and again, like compassion for the human, like the guides are going to be fine, but the humans, right? Like we put our guides in these boxes, and actually we limit their ability to support us. So again, okay, no more tangents, less talky shit. So we're gonna make that bubble. We're gonna just be like gently and generously suspicious of ourselves, to watch if I'm pulling on that field, to watch what I'm trying to get from working with my guides, from energy work, to just like open to like, what am I running from? If I'm running, right? Maybe we're not anymore. And then once we can like relate to our guides, that container itself can be how we continue to build relationship with them, because it's a landing place for that deep relationship that exists no matter what. And we can create images that help us relate to our guides. Like, if it's helpful for me to know what moment in time they come from, like, we'll bring that in, but we're not bringing that in as solid or real or unchanging. We're bringing that in as a right now, in this moment in time, my guide's a pirate. You're right. And you're like, I don't know, man, I wish it was something else. If your guide pulls up and is a pirate and doesn't sound really sexy and cool, I would say like that's better than if like our guides are like, queens and kings of a celestial realm. Like, for me at least, when that happens, I'm like, wait a second. And I'm like, are you really that? And then they're like, nah. I'm like, what are you? They're like, I'm a crystal. I'm like, oh, cool. That's way cooler. Right? I'm like, what do you do? They're like, I kind of just stay here and do crystal things. And I'm like, oh, okay. I respect that. Right. And then that's for me, again, way more interesting conversation than like when they're like, I'm here to channel a new Akashic realm. And then I'm like, and then it sounds so cool. And everyone's like, and like, and I'm like, and I am the king. They told me I'm the king of this celestial realm. Right. And you're like, okay, like there's really no chance to clear boxes. Right. Our guides have great branding. Oh shit. Yeah, like there's no chance to like really challenge that. Oftentimes I'll say like, even if we did start to challenge, again, they're like, I'm a king or queen. And I'm like, cool, like tell me of these other kings and queens then. Right. Cause like if again, like I'm like, well, if I was there at the birth of the earth, then like where was everyone else at? Cause like I'm like, I don't know. When I look around, there's all these people and things, right? So like, so same if they're like, if I'm the king and queen of that realm or whatever, right? Then I'm like, what about all the other realms and all the other kings and queens? And then like, how can I best collaborate with that information so that I can be a really good human being, which requires a lot of humility and kindness and attunement to others. And oftentimes, again, if we challenge that, that shit will fold. And then they're like, nah, I'm sorry, we just really want to hang out with you. Like, we really need your help, right? And I'm like, okay, well, like, what kind of help? They're like, we kind of made a really big mess, and you're like, oh, well, you should have asked me for paper towels. Don't give me a crown. Like, ask for paper towels and Clorox, right? Like, so anyways, and I have found that, and then when that does happen, again, be suspicious because it'll burst. If you question it, typically these things like will they just sound a lot cooler, right? If I will say, like, this feels important to say, right? Like, the things that have come with like huge across lifetimes responsibilities, that I've been like suspicious of, I've questioned, and then I was like, okay, I'd be willing to like give everything to become that. I'd be willing to give everything to help this group of people, or to like see this energy, and like I will become personally responsible, not to bring it into my aura, not to enmesh with it, but to like to say that I will do everything I can to skillfully transmute this. That is when I felt like a king. Like that's when I felt like I was the best version of myself. And it had nothing to do again with like, right? I was like, oh no, I'm getting to use this one precious human life and like use it to do something incredibly beautiful and powerful. Right. And that was typically in really dark, heavy ass places, right? Like, I mean, we think about what's happening in Ukraine right now, right? Like to say like, no, I'm going to heal everything in my heart that's connected to this. I'm going to find every place in me that I still think hurting others can produce what I want, right? I'm going to find everywhere in my heart where I'm like, I hope these guys kill these guys. And I'm going to heal that, right? And I'm going to be responsible every day in my community, in my space to like be willing to look at those energies and be willing to transform them in, let's say like in this content. These things are like feelings, right? So like in this space to be an anchor for what's happening there, to be a conduit for it, right? Like, and I don't know about yeah, like, but to me that's when I felt like, okay, now I'm like, now I'm in this body, like now I'm a human participating, right? Every time again, like I got those things and I'm like, oh my God, my Kundalini is awakened. Like it was really like self-centered. I know like I'm really talking shit, but I'm gonna finish talking shit. I call that spiritual masturbation. And obviously like masturbation is like really beautiful and important. So this isn't even like an affront to masturbation, but I'm just saying like a lot of things I see, I'm like, oh, that's just like spiritual masturbation. They're just like, I'm so spiritual. They're like, I'm actually like the most spiritual person you're ever gonna meet, and you're welcome. And this is actually probably your awakening right now to meet me. Right. And I'm like, oh my God, like they're just literally like interacting with themselves. And like it is just spiritual masturbation. Like that's how I see it and think of it. And again, it's like doing all this work that could like heal parts of the earth, and I do it to just look really cool. So anyways, so I'm sure I'm like kicking a lot of things up. So when I open up the channel, it seems a bit wacky. Yeah, I would say for most folks, like you don't got a channel, not yet, you know. Is there articulate boundaries between helping and self-sacrifice? I could definitely do that. Yeah, like I think a lot of these things, they just sound way cooler. Like more important than channeling is just like heal your broken heart. Like that's it. Heal our shit with our parents, deeply attuned to the people that I don't like, and then like lift veil so that we can see that. Like I think channeling should only, in my opinion, be done when we're a really great person, when we're a person that can really patiently, lovingly cultivate others, because that's to me what channeling is meant to do. And so when channeling, I'm opening to information that's not here, and I am a qualified vessel to bring that information here and to like share it with people. But if I'm a shitty person, if if I do things to like try to be if I don't have skillful ways to get my needs met, then information that I bring in, I'm just going to use it to attempt to get needs met. And so it's going to get weird, and it will get weird. And I think, I'm sure y'all have seen enough and been around the field enough that like, you see people doing really weird things, and then like a couple of weeks later, they're like, something happened, and you're like, oh, okay, well, good luck to that person, right? Like it happens. So, yeah, I would say like I'm not. If you believe you're a channel, see if there's like shadow underneath that, of course, right? Question it. I don't mean to like shit on anyone's dreams, right? Because I think that's beautiful work, important work. And I think this being human thing is like exponentially more difficult than being a channel. Being a channel is just like creating open space, finding cool energy, being able to bring it in, being able to translate it, and then being able to have that help people. Being a good person is infinitely more complex and difficult. Its principles are quite simple, right? It's just like, yeah, maybe one is like humility, Maybe two is like identifying your needs, creating strategies to like meet those needs that don't hurt others, which is hard, you know? So anyways, we're just gonna do this thing real quick. So I'm sorry, yeah. So we're gonna tune into our beautiful little community space here, to everyone who is here in person, to everyone who's listening to this recording. And I put a lot of things out there. So imagine first that like all of those energies are like pushed out, and we get to make this space that is like for you, for your heart, for your evolution. A space where all of you matters, where every single aspect of you is worthy of validation, love, celebration. And this space today was to learn about guidance, learn about our relationship to our guides. And then all the stuff I was talking about was different viewpoints, opinions, right? Judgments, even, and critiques of things that maybe exist in our field, maybe don't, maybe exist in people that we learn from or study with, or maybe don't. And just let your inner wisdom and your guides be 100% in charge. And as we make this container, we're just going to start to like vibrate more things out of our personal aura, out of our little group space here. And a lot of the things I was sharing was just about like, what is a worthwhile goal for this precious human life and these like super powerful skills and techniques, these collaborations of the divine. What is a worthwhile goal? There we go, good. And then we're gonna bring our guides, earth and universal energies. We can connect this to vortexes in the earth. And just imagine that this container can now help us get these answers. And now we're going to bring our attention to our personal aura and just kind of get a quick read of how much of the energies in your space are authentically yours. Versus other people's, versus family, ancestors, societal energies. And with that information, however high or low that number, we're just going to begin to shift that. So we're going to put magnets in front of us and behind us and start releasing energies into those magnets. Yeah. There we go. Perfect. We're going to clear our grounding cord, have our guides begin to recall our authentic energies. And then those energies that we kicked out, we're going to bring earth energies and just allow your inner wisdom to begin to like kind of collect the energies that are going to help you grow and unlock whatever's next. And if there's information that I shared that is like definitely not helpful for you, it's just my opinions, let that release into the earth. Let that be like transmuted by the universe. Again, if there's information that is, this is the right moment in time, this is going to support you, just imagine again that your guides help create some stability We can upload whatever of that information is important into our Akashic, letting it be translated by our lived experiences. Yeah, that's good. With that really big compassion and forgiveness, we're just going to lift little veils gently, giving us permission to see with greater clarity, less projection. Good. And we can just keep clearing with magnets. And we're also going to work with pictures, and we're going to imagine that those pictures are like collections of energy that are kind of stuck in our field. Yeah. We can be like sending those pictures out to be washed over by the elements, and then having golden cosmic energies complete them. Now, again, this goal was to create a space to relate to our guides. And just imagine that we make this little bubble, and it can be out in front of us. And I like to imagine that I have a badass interior designer, and I make this bubble like a little paradise for my guides. And that can look quite unique. It will look very personal to us. Sometimes it can be simple. You can make one little paradise. You can make a paradise for each of your guides. Just kind of let your inner wisdom start to create that space. For some of us with different trainings in this lifetime or other trainings in other lifetimes, um, there can be spaces in our body that we've made for our guides or even teachers or mentors. And right now, we're going to let our inner wisdom kind of find if there's any of those spaces that are no longer supportive or congruent. We're going to honor that place of deep connection. And with that really big gratitude, allow that space to be washed over by the elements. Whenever it's appropriate, we can upload into our Akashic, release into the earth. And allow ourselves to release any of those old location bubbles. Again, especially the heart, connect the crown and third eye. You'll often have those old placements there. And we're gonna let that just gently reset our energy body or refresh our connection with the earth. We'll have our guides recall our authentic energies. Good. That bubble that we were making with all these little paradises, like let's bring earth and universe energies and just create stability and resource. And then again, we're just gonna allow ourselves to start to lift any veils. There, nice. And just increasing our permission to see our guides as they are. See our guides as collaborators. Of course, they're very special in the same way that like chocolate is special and cute baby pictures. It's all special. They have spiritual information for us. Yeah, here we go. Good. And then next, we're gonna notice if there's ways that we pull on this field. And so just kind of allow yourself with lots of compassion and forgiveness to welcome any parts of us that pull on this field of resource. As we lift any veils again, we're going to gently bring awareness to those places. And first, bringing awareness to any resistance that's there. Honoring that resistance. As we gently honor that resistance and any guarding, just allowing it to gently open. Allow our inner wisdom to recall any of our authentic energies that could be in other people. In other words, clearing it and completing any cords. Giving those people their energies back, calling our energies. Okay. With those deep emotions that we're working with and those moments in time that really needed resource. We're going to wash over them with earth, with healing, nourishing water, with the element of fire. And we're just going to create that permission for our guides to get to provide really beautiful guidance. And then those parts of us that are like really needing love and healing to get it. And just kind of open your permission to receiving love and healing. We can clear any pictures that say that that's not possible, or it's too difficult, or it's not going to happen in a meditation like this. And who knows? Maybe it could. Maybe even the most profound healing can come from me taking a walk, me journaling, having a good cry, right? We don't know. I don't know. You know, and we let this energy work gently evolve our identity, gently evolve our self-concept, and then gently evolve our reality and belief structures. We're going to offer those energies back in time and forward in time. For a lot of us, just kind of notice what energy range you're in. It's going to be fun. I'm just going to let us gently come back to our bodies. We were hanging out with our guides and it like brought our energy frequency up. And that's cool for doing specific energy work. But as a people, you want to be in the people ranges of energy. We're going to thank our guides and then let them find a space in your aura. And it could be like at the top of your crown, it could be behind you, sometimes behind your heart. If it feels appropriate, you can even have it gently outside of your aura and above you. Just let your inner wisdom and your own feeling find that. If they do want to be in your body, I think for me, it can be too much to have them in my body for extended periods of time. So you can, if that feels agreeable, you can say, well, you can be in my body now and help me unlock this next level, help me heal. But I would prefer if you got to be in my aura, which is outside of it. Again, that's so you make that call. Good. There we go. Good. And then this energy work, don't let it be like an idea or a concept. Let this create a baseline experience and connection with your guides. Good. Perfect. We're going to clear our magnets again. We're going to refresh our connection to the earth. We're going to have our guides and even that little paradise field that we created. Imagine that that little paradise field can back in time and forward in time from any places, any realms, any lifetimes. Recall your authentic energies. Double, triple check those. Update, empower those energies, and then beam them into your body, into your aura, channels, your centers. We're bringing out the sparkles. We're going to allow this energy work that we did to settle and integrate. We're going to thank this beautiful container and all of the beings that came to support us, all these beautiful energies. And we're going to send it out to the universe so that any living beings, past or present, that would like to build a relationship to their guides, that they can have bubbles like this of energy to help them do that. We're going to individuate from each other. I'm going to give everyone their energies back. I'm gonna recall my energies from everyone's space. I'm gonna do that for one another. One more time, green sparkles. One more time, ground. And boom. I think we just did 20 minutes for that meditation. We went hard though. So any comments or questions for that? Y'all can be in the chat. Now that everyone's here. So we're still gonna do Monday meditations. Somebody was worried, I think, because I sent an email that said that this was our last one before the immersion. I was just saying that just in case anybody was like wanting to sign up for the immersion, not like not to freak anybody out, and also that like I want to pivot. So these Monday meditations, I want to talk about cool shit. If you want to join the 15-week immersion, we're going to continue explorations like this, working with guides and stuff like that, and just like energy work specific stuff. And then, dang, I thought I was going to say something else. Oh, yeah, anyways. Yeah, this thing. I hope that was fun. Thank y'all for being here and bearing through this. With guides, just keep building that relationship, and again, just have healthy suspicion. Do we have to be an energy worker, energy practitioner to take that class? No. I have some of my friends go through it that I would say are just like regular people in Tucson, and I think that's more fun. I think when people are like, oh my god, is that the fourth subplane of the astro etheric realm? You know, it's like when somebody has their cup quite full. And yeah, I've had people email me, be like, I'm actually like a Reiki master, am I gonna get anything from this? And I'm just like, you're gonna get your ass handed to you is what you're gonna get. So no, in a healthy energy work realm, and they did. You know, I think they were often overwhelmed because they thought they were so cool. But no, I mean, like, if you're interested in this stuff and this stuff is beautiful, like I break down how it works, you know. And taking the immersion for the second time, yeah, I have people that this is going to be their third time taking it, because yeah, we're just exploring how to do this work really well. I get to enjoy the next one. Yeah, and we'll talk about that. I know you talked really about pulled on the field of guides. Would be pulling that. We invalidate ourselves and give our guides. Yes, perfect. Yeah, exactly. So with less charge, it's exactly what I'm saying, right? And I was talking shit, but yeah, it's just that like, if I believe my guides are gonna save me, then I set up a hierarchy where they know more than I do, and I invalidate my humanness. I invalidate those emotions. I invalidate my own resilience and capacity. And then not an energy work and got so much out of it. Ken doesn't hold back. Would love to do the next one. This class I've been feeling. Yeah, I think I might not be leading the 15-week immersion anymore. I think this is gonna be the last time I do that one in this way. I'll probably do other long courses though. But I think I'm just gonna write a book and just like write and put all of those things and put it in like a package. But I don't want to keep teaching the same things. So once I've taught the same thing, it's pre-recorded. You can get access to the pre-recordings. But there's other shit that I want to be teaching that I think you know I want to always be excited about what I'm doing. And if ever I'm teaching the 15-week immersion, I'm like, okay, we're gonna clear our grounding cord again, right? Then like I don't want that. So this is gonna be my third time. I think it'll be the last one. And but I think I might use like a 30-month period to write a book on it. So we'll see though. That's just what I'm thinking right now. And that might change. But anyways, y'all, I have a class with a teacher of mine that I get to take next. So I'll catch y'all later. Peace.